guys, today I want to talk to you a little bit about calories. I get a lot of questions on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, emails, comments, a lot of the time talking about calories. Do I need to count calories? Do I count calories personally? What my take is on calories, how many calories people should be eating to lose weight. There are lots of different opinions floating around about calories. Now, I did a post on my website a while back where I talked about how calorie counting can be beneficial, and it doesn't always have to be this super restrictive, super obsessive, negative, miserable thing. My personal opinion on pretty much most things in life is that extremes, and to be at an extreme end of any spectrum, is never the most pleasant thing, and it's not always the best thing. So some people take things to real extremes and they have very firm opinions and they believe that things are black and things are white and that there's no grey area in between. I pretty much find myself in most situations in the grey area, whether I'm more towards one end or more towards the other. I'm pretty much always in the grey area. There are not many things in life that I feel are black and white. First of all, I want to touch on why calorie counting can be bad for you and the negative things to do with calorie counting. Then I'm going to move on to the positive aspects, how it can be helpful, how I personally think the best way to go about it is, and how many calories you should be eating if you want to maintain your weight, lose weight, etc. Calorie counting can be kind of negative because you're not really focusing on what foods you're putting in your body, you're focusing on how many calories are in a certain food. Coming from a calorie counting point of view, if you're always looking for the lowest possible calories that you can put into your body, then artificial sweeteners that are full of chemicals are better than fresh fruit. A low fat, low calorie yogurt that's loaded with preservatives, loaded with chemicals, colourings, flavourings, and has just been completely stripped back and then filled with tons of lab made chemicals is better than a sweet potato or better than a homemade meal from scratch. This is where you need to be careful. Your body is a machine, and if you want it to work well, you need to put fuel into it, and you need a certain amount of fuel every day. You need fats, you need carbs, you need protein, you need fibre, vitamins, minerals, nutrients. And if you're always focusing on how low the calories are, you're never going to be filling your body with the correct amount of sustenance and goodness that it needs. Now, there's nothing wrong with making informed calorie decisions and taking nutrition into account, but the negative side of calorie counting is when people get consumed by the calories and that's the only number that they look at. And I think this was pushed a lot in the 80s, in the 90s, people talked a lot about low fat, low calorie, and that's not necessarily good for you. You can become fixated on the level of saturated fat or the level of calories in something and not look at how much protein, how much fibre. And the way I tend to look at my food is, what is this plate of food doing for me? Not what is it not got in it. So I don't look at a meal and think, oh, this is low fat, low carb, low calorie. I look at a meal and think, this is full of fibre, this is full of protein, this is full of vitamin C, full of beta carotene. I try and look at the positives and I'm like, what am I putting in my body rather than what am I avoiding putting in my body? That's not to say that everybody that counts calories ignores nutrition, but I'm just saying, if you become consumed with the calories and you only use that as your benchmark for losing weight, you might lose weight, but is your body healthy? Are you fueling your body well? Are you just filling it with crap but trying to lose weight? And that's not what being healthy is all about. The other thing about calorie counting is that people seem to have in their head that a woman should have X amount of calories per day and a man should have X amount of calories per day, and you need to eat X amount of calories to lose weight. Here are the recommended calorie allowances for a female and for a male. Now, this is a great guide, but at the same time, everybody is different. So if you are a runner, you get up every morning and run for 2 miles or 4 miles because you love running, and then you come home, you're going to need to eat a lot more calories than the regular recommended allowance, because not everybody gets up every morning and runs for 2 miles. If you have a high metabolism, if you have a lower metabolism, every single body is completely different, and so it's really, really important not to say, oh, this magazine tells me I need to eat this many calories to lose weight, and look at you and your body and your needs, your daily routine, and work out a bit of a tailored plan for yourself. A lot of people who are anti-calorie counting will tell you that, you know, life's too short to count calories and you shouldn't worry about the amount of calories in something. You should just live, you should just enjoy yourself and eat whatever you like and don't worry about the calories. And whilst I think that a lot of their points are valid, life is too short to be obsessed with calories. If you are unhealthy, if you are overweight or you're underweight and your body is not in the best shape, you need to work to make that better. And so if that means educating yourself about what is in your food, if it means counting calories loosely for a little bit just to get a feel for roughly what you should be eating in a day, portion sizes, then you're gonna need to do that. So many people eat healthily, and I myself was eating healthily, but my portions were way too big, and I was worrying like, I'm not losing weight, I'm eating really healthily, why am I not losing weight, I'm exercising, and it's because my portions were too big. And it's only from putting my meals and the cup sizes or weighing my food, putting it into a calorie counting app and thinking, my portions are too big, I'm eating too many calories, that's why, that I figured out the best portion sizes for me. Now I don't count calories on an everyday basis, but if I notice that I'm just getting a little bit confused about how big my portion should be if I'm making new foods, I will just put things into a calorie counting app. And it's great if you use an app that is something like myfitnesspal, which is completely free, and you can scan barcodes. And I find this really useful because every supermarket will have food, like their own brand. There are so many different brands out there. Some of them have more salt in than others, some of them have more fibre in than others. And so MyFitnessPal is really good because it shows you not only the calories but where those calories are coming from. Are you eating too many sugars? Are you having enough fibre? Do you have too much fat in your diet, or too little fat, or too few carbs? And so it's really, really good to just learn how to eat a more balanced diet. And once you've done that for a while, you get a feel for, okay, these are the healthy breakfasts that I figured out using my calorie counting app. And you don't have to sit every day and restrict yourself or type things in. It's more about learning how to feed your body rather than how to restrict things that you're putting into your body. Use these apps as a tool to learn how to feed your body correctly rather than where can I cut calories. You know, there's nothing wrong with eating a balanced diet and trying to educate yourself on that, and it doesn't have to be restrictive. If you are the kind of person who perhaps feels that starting to calorie count would be a bad idea for them because you do have a tendency to maybe get a little bit obsessive with things like that, or you can take things too far, then cup sizes are a really good way to do things. Because I mean, weighing food, I personally have no time for weighing my food every morning. I don't want to stand there with scales and make sure things are a certain amount of grams. I just think that's quite tedious, it's not practical. I don't think it's necessarily healthy for me up here because I would be weighing things and making sure that they were correct and stuff, and who wants to do that every morning when they're making their food? I would get some cups, and what I do in the morning when I'm making my oatmeal, I will just get half a cup, just scoop it and use that to get the oatmeal out of the bag, and I just know, yeah, that's half a cup, that's one serving of oatmeal, and that's it. I'm not weighing things, I'm not putting things into apps and figuring out how many calories it is, I'm just using the cups. But I have in the past used the calorie counting apps just to figure out what a day of food should look like for me, and so now I'm comfortable with it. I understand if I have this in the morning, have this for lunch, have this for dinner, and I have sort of a rotating thing in my mind of these are like sort of the 10 to 15 breakfasts that I like to eat that are around the right portion size. This is the sort of lunch that I like to eat. This is the sort of dinner. And now it's just second nature, but I needed those apps in the beginning to educate me on food, to educate me on portion sizes. Adopting a very, very black and white approach and saying, you know, you shouldn't count calories, it can sometimes be a negative thing because you do need to educate yourself on this stuff, whether we like it or not. Calorie counting has its place, but it needs to be in conjunction with proper nutrition, education, learning about food, experimenting in the kitchen. It's just one tiny, tiny piece of the puzzle, but I think that just eliminating it and saying that it's all around bad is not necessarily the truth. A lot of people ask me, how many calories should I be eating? I want to lose weight and I'm so tall and I'm so old. Honestly, there are so many resources online where you can figure out your body's calorie consumption. So you can figure out your basal metabolic rate and you can see how many calories your body burns just by existing, just by sitting in a chair and existing. Type in your age, your height, your activity level, and it will figure out how many calories your body needs just to stay alive. Now, the absolute bare minimum that nutritionists recommend for women is 1,200 calories, and I think that's pretty low. I'll leave some links to where you can find out your own personal calorie requirements online, but personally for me, I need 2,173 calories every day for my weight to stay stable, and that is including my workouts that I do. So I factored in the exercises that I do on a weekly basis, and every day I need 2,173 calories to stay Gemma, to stay alive, to stay well, and for my body to feed itself correctly. For my body to stay the same and for me to not gain any weight or not lose any weight, I'd have to eat 2,173 calories every day, or around about that figure. Now, if you're wanting to lose weight, which personally I want to lose weight, then you take 600 calories off that, which would mean that I have to eat 1,570 calories every day, and I'll be able to lose weight. Now let me give you an example of where calorie counting can be a good thing. So when I first started trying to lose weight, I was eating a healthy breakfast, a healthy lunch and a healthy dinner. I was eating healthy snacks, I wasn't eating too late in the day, I was exercising, I felt great, but when I weighed myself the numbers weren't going down on the scale. And I was a little bit confused because I kept it up for about 2 months and I still didn't see a difference. And I thought, you know, I've given my body time, I've given my body the correct nutrition, I've exercised, this is kind of a weird thing. And when I tracked all of my calories using an app, I realised I wasn't eating enough. My calories were hovering about 1,200, 1,300 calories a day, and I was full, I was eating well. Because I was eating a lot of vegetables, to be honest, that's probably why I felt full. But I wasn't losing any weight because I wasn't eating enough calories, and to lose weight you need to eat enough, you need to feed your body correctly. And as soon as I upped my calories and I went to about 1,500 calories, I found that weight came off a lot easier. And so that's one example of how calorie counting actually made me eat more food. It wasn't restrictive, it made me feed my body more, it made me realise, whoa, I haven't been giving myself enough fats, I haven't been giving myself enough carbs, this is where I need to change things around. And so it can be an educational tool, it can be something that is a really positive thing. It can also be really good if you're trying to gain weight. So people who perhaps are a little bit on the slimmer side and they want to put a little bit of weight on, they might feel like, oh, I'm not like gaining weight very easily and I feel like I'm eating all the time, what am I doing wrong? And you can really look on a calorie counting app at foods that are nutritionally dense and they're good for you. They're not deep fried, they're not full of rubbish, but they're also quite high in calories, high in good fats, for example, and make sure that you're incorporating more of those in your diet. It doesn't always have to be this scary restrictive thing. I'll leave all of the links below to where you can find out your body's requirements to make sure that you're feeding your body correctly, and educate yourself a little bit more in terms of calories and using that as a tool as part of a healthier lifestyle. So I'll leave all that information below and you can go and check that out for yourself. But please, 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 if you're watching this video, use it as a small part of your nutritional education and use it as a small part of how you're going to feed your body and give it the nutrients that it needs. If I could give you one piece of advice, it would be to make sure that your calories are high enough, not low enough. That's not a healthy way to look at it. It's not going to make you lose weight, it's not going to make you healthy. You get your car serviced, you get Apple Care when you buy an iMac, you take insurance out on your phone. This is a machine and it's the only machine that you're going to get. You're not going to get another body and you need to feed it and you need to look after it. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. It's kind of where I stand on the calorie debate. I'm sort of in the middle. I think there are some really beneficial things. There's some things you need to watch out for, but the grey area is where I like to lie with the calorie debate. Make sure you're eating enough, make sure you feed yourself well enough. All of the food diaries that are on my website are around 1,500 calories or above some days. I'm always really cautious of that. I know there are a lot of health bloggers, a lot of people out there that are on very restrictive diets. Some of the calories that I've seen on some of the bloggers' diets are like 700 calories, 800 calories. It's not cool, it's not going to make you slim, it's only going to make you miserable, your body isn't going to function correctly. Don't fall into that trap, and please feed your body properly. You need to get that brain working. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. I will leave my website below as well as all the information that I've talked about in this video. You can find food diaries, recipes and things on my website. Also, really exciting, I've created a Facebook page just for this channel, just for healthy inspiration, recipes, things like that. So please like my Facebook page, share it with your friends if they're looking to lead a healthier lifestyle. It will be chock full of inspiration every day. I didn't want to spam up my other Facebook page, but feel free to like that as well. But I just wanted to make a dedicated healthy living one because I'm going to be putting a lot of inspirational quotes, images, recipes, food diaries, sharing a lot of stuff with you guys on there. So thank you so much for watching and I will see you tomorrow with another video. Bye guys!